Okay, so let's get one thing straight. Forget everything you think you know about elves. We're not talking about graceful archers in a fantasy forest here. Today, we're diving deep into the raw, powerful world of Norse mythology to uncover the real story of the elf. And trust me, it's a story written not in starlight, but in blood, and forged in iron. Let's get into it.
Seriously, close your eyes for a second. Picture an elf. You're probably seeing someone tall, elegant, maybe a little ethereal, right? Pointed ears, an expert with a bow, totally at one with nature. And look, that's a cool image, but that's the modern fantasy version. The original Norse elf? That was something else entirely. Something far more primal, way more powerful, and deeply connected to the earth itself.
And here's where we see the big split. See, the modern elf is a creature of the woods, but the Norse elves, they were a people of two very different worlds. You had the Ljósálfar, the light elves, powerful ancestral spirits of the land. And then you had the Dagálfar, the dark elves, absolute master craftsmen who lived deep inside the earth. One was honored with blood rituals, the other with the fire of the forge.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to journey from the sacred hearths of the light elves all the way down to the fiery forges of the dark elves. We'll look at their ancient rituals, the legendary weapons they made for the gods, and then we'll see how their legacy is, believe it or not, still shaping our world today. First up, let's meet these elves of old. Right, so let's be super clear. The Norse elven world isn't about good versus evil. Not at all. It's about a duality of power, a reflection of the world itself. You've got the elves of the light and the land above, and the elves of the dark and the deep earth below. They're two sides of the same ancient, powerful, magical coin.
So on one side, you have the Ljósálfar, the light elves. You should think of them almost like ancestral spirits, tied to a specific piece of land, a family farm, or the burial mounds of your ancestors. They had influence over things like fertility, luck, and your family's health. And on the other side, the Dagálfar, the dark elves. These were the master smiths, whose entire world was the heart of the mountain. One group was worshipped with sacred rites, and the other? Well, the gods would have been totally lost without them.
Let's start with the light elves, because their magic, it wasn't something you'd find on a battlefield or in a king's hall. Nope, it was right there in the heart of the Norse home, in the soil of the family land. This was an intimate, powerful magic of blood, bone, and kinship. And the most important ritual was the Alfblót, which literally means the elf sacrifice. Now, while worshiping gods like Odin and Thor could be these big, loud, public festivals, the Alfblót was the total opposite. It was intensely private. It was a secret, sacred ritual held right inside the home to honor the spirits that guarded that specific family's land. This was not for outsiders. This was personal.
Picture this. It's late autumn, the harvest is in, and the air is getting cold. This is when the veil between our world and the spirit world was thought to be at its thinnest. The home would be sealed off. No visitors, no travelers allowed. This was a family-only affair. And get this, it wasn't a priest or a chieftain who led it. It was the lady of the house, the matriarch. She would preside over the offerings of animal blood, the best meat, and the first fruits of the harvest. It was a direct payment to those unseen spirits to ensure the family's luck and survival through the long, harsh winter.
And this wasn't just some abstract belief. This stuff had immediate life-or-death consequences. In the Old Norse sagas, there are stories of people in desperate times going directly to elven mounds, which were often burial hills, and making blood offerings. They would literally redden the earth in a desperate plea for a miracle, like healing the sick. It was a direct transaction with the spirits for their very lives.
Now, for a more direct line to that elven wisdom, you could try the Utsitta, which means sitting out. This was basically a vision quest. A person would go, all alone, and spend the entire night on a burial mound, meditating, trying to connect with the world below. The hope was to receive prophetic dreams or guidance from the spirits. It took immense courage and patience, a truly profound journey into the spirit world.
All right, take a deep breath, because from the quiet, sacred earth of the burial mound, we are about to do a complete 180. We're going deep, deep down into the roaring fires below the earth, into the realm of the other kind of elf. Welcome to Svartalfheim, the realm of the dark elves. And yes, in the myths, they're often called dwarves. The names were pretty much interchangeable. This is a world lit only by the blazing light of the forges. The air hums with the constant ring of hammers on anvils. This is where magic isn't whispered in secret rites. It is beaten into shape with fire and steel.
The dark elves were, and I mean this literally, the master smiths of the entire cosmos.
They didn't just make magical items, they created artifacts that were practically alive, with a will of their own. And here is the single most important thing to understand. Without the incredible skill of these dark elves, the mighty gods of Asgard, they would have been completely, utterly defenseless. So, if the gods themselves were relying on them, what exactly were these dark elves making down there? I'm not talking about a well-made sword or a sturdy shield. Oh no. We are talking about artifacts that could bend the laws of physics and change the fate of all the 9 realms.
I mean, just listen to this list. They forged Gungnir, Odin's spear, that was enchanted to never ever miss its target. They made Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, a weapon that could smash mountains and would always fly back to his hand. They built Skibladnir, a ship big enough for all the gods that could be folded up and put in your pocket. They even spun a new head of hair for the goddess Sif out of pure living gold. This wasn't blacksmithing, this was divine creation.
But here's the best part. The gods rarely got these treasures through a simple, polite negotiation. More often than not, it was all Loki's fault. The trickster god would make a stupid bet, pull some horrible prank, and get himself into huge trouble. Then the Dark Elves would be tasked with creating some impossible item to get him out of it. They were the ultimate, though probably very annoyed problem solvers for the gods.
So we have the magic of blood, practiced in the home to connect with the past, and the magic of iron, forged in the mountain to arm the gods. 2 incredibly powerful ancient traditions. But do they still matter today? You might be surprised.
The spirit of the elf blood is definitely still with us, woven into so many of our modern traditions. Think about any harvest festival, or any big family dinner where you share a meal and talk about those who came before you. That quiet, powerful act of honoring your family, your ancestors, and the place you call home, that is a direct echo of the elf blood.
And the Dark Elves? Their legacy is everywhere in modern fantasy. You know that legendary sword the hero finds? The unbreakable armor forged by a mysterious, ancient race that lives underground? Yup. That entire idea comes straight from the roaring forges of Svartalfheim. They are the founding fathers of the fantasy superweapon.
So the Norse elves and all their amazing complexity remind us that real magic isn't just about epic battles. It's also in the quiet rituals of family, in the deep connection to the land right under our feet, and in the incredible power of creation itself. It's a magic of both blood and iron, and it's a story that is still being told.